Welcome to the Leading Owls podcast, brought to you by Rice University's Door Institute for New Leaders. Each week, we bring you inspiring stories and practical tips from successful student leaders, faculty, and staff, along with leadership experts and coaches that will help guide you in your own leadership journey. On this episode of Leading Owls podcast, we sit down with Yazmine, a powerhouse student leader at McMurtry College and one of this year's O Week coordinators. From her first steps as a first-year representative to serving as external vice president and helping select resident fellows, Yazmine shares how her leadership journey has evolved and what continues to drive her. We talk about what it takes to create an unforgettable O Week experience, her goals for student government, and how she balances it all with her work as a Rice 360 Global Health Technologies intern. Plus, you don't want to miss her rapid-fire takes on favorite Rice traditions, her favorite Servery meals, and her go-to Chaus drink. Whether you're a new owl or a seasoned leader, Yazmine's story is full of wisdom, warmth, and inspiration you won't want to miss. Please welcome Yazmine. Hi, Yazmine. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, thank you for having me.
So what first inspired you to get involved in leadership at Rice?
Honestly, it was fear. To be quite honest with you, coming from a small town where I kind of know everybody and I'm involved, coming to college in a different city, a different state, where I had nobody coming in, I was really scared to fall through the cracks. I was scared to be another number or just scared that I would go through my 4 years here without making any real connections. So when they sent out the email, like, first year representative, I'm like, this is my chance. It's like now or never, which looking back, it is never that serious, never fatal in that way. But I thought if I don't jump on this bandwagon now, I'm going to have a really hard time connecting to my college culture. So kind of the fear of not having connections, but really that fear led me to having like one of the best network support systems here at Rice. So I'm really grateful for it.
That is a fantastic answer. I've never gotten that answer. And I love that you recognize that in yourself. And so you really pushed to put yourself out there and it really paid off. I love it.
Yeah, thank you.
How has your leadership journey evolved from being a first year representative to now being an OE coordinator and EVP?
I think, honestly, the first representative role has helped me take ideas and execute them. Like, you have a semester, you have a certain amount of budget, do it. And I have learned through that role and now being a sophomore rep that I really do enjoy having a hand in creating moments. So like, I don't have to necessarily be in the moment to have a good time, but if I say like, oh, let's do a water event and then 3 new friendships come out of that, I feel really fulfilled. And I think on the smaller levels, doing that for the last 2 years has really helped me, one, recognize that I can do it on a larger scale for a week for like over 130 students. And 2, realizing that as an OE coord, having the opportunity to like create a schedule where connections can be made and also having such an influence on like a whole new cohort, I think is really exciting. And I'm really excited to see how my skills, my soft skills from first year rep will translate into my OE coordinating experience.
What motivated you to become an OE coordinator?
I honestly, as an advisor last year, I think it is so special that a new student's first contact is another student. I think recognizing that you have so much influence on your OE group, your OE kids, is so important. And so I took the time to like really learn my OE kids' personalities, learned their yeses and nos. I talked to them about steak at one point because they all really like steak. I'm like, I like steak. Like, I really, really did enjoy it. And so I saw how me connecting with them and me putting an effort really did help with their first year experience. If I can do that on just an individual scale as an OE coordinator, helping all of my advisors and empowering them to make that on so many micro levels will be so influential to my college and Rice. And so like my amazing experience as an advisor has really pushed me and encouraged me to become a coordinator to continue helping people and create moments and friendships.
What do you think makes a successful OE Week experience for new students?
Simply, it comes down to acclimation. If a new student feels acclimated, that's the whole purpose of OE Week. And so different colleges have different methods of doing this. Some colleges will have night rides. You better on the inner loop in your cars and honk horns. Other colleges will have bananas and pajamas. That's McMurtry, where you just like a fun activity at night. But all those fun activities are for the sole purpose of having new students acclimate. And so if new students are able to leave OE Week feeling like, okay, I know this university, I know this college, this is my home, that is successful. And how you go about that is definitely different for each college, but that's really the main goal of OE Week.
As the external vice president for McMurtry, what are your goals for this year?
Honestly, I've been thinking about this for a while because as EVP, I have a few committees under me, but not just committees, it's people who look to me for guidance, who look for me for stability and wisdom in that manner. And so I really think like the word or like the method I want to go about is stability and foundation. I admittedly am not the most creative person, but what I like to say is like, I operate within the box, but I do a really good job within the box. So am I making new things up all the time? No, but definitely having strength and foundation. So that means like connecting with my committee leads early. I'm hoping to meet with them this semester, really establish a rapport. So that way in August, we don't have the 2 months of getting to know each other. Immediately go in, start making merchandise, immediately start having meetings with your new committees. Immediately, let's pump out these events so we have no lull. And so I really do want to just create a really strong committee heads who then empower their committees. And hopefully next EVP can maybe shake it up a little bit. But I'm hoping to strengthen and go forward in that way.
I love that you know what you're good at and what you excel. And I love that you are like, I can do this box and I can do it so well. I love that.
Sometimes I get a little nervous because people will ask like creative questions. And I'm like, okay, what have we done before? How can we take that and push it further? And for a long time, I thought that was a weakness of mine. Like, wow, Yazmine, you can't think of something completely different. But honestly, when I go through different iterations of the same thing, the end result is quite different than the beginning one. But now knowing that this is a strength of mine, I don't have to feel so bad for going to the box first. And so I feel like even like recognizing that and being okay, Yazmine, it's okay to look in the box for inspiration. I think it's helped me feel a lot more confident in my abilities. And like, this is what I can offer you, but I promise you it will be amazing and people will love it. I think it's really helped.
I think that's good. And when you're working with a college that's been around for years, you've got a lot of things already set up that you can expand on.
And honestly, that's one of the cool things about McMurtry. We have this like in limbo. We've been around for over a decade, but we are fairly new. Like we are the newest college as of now. And so we have this thing at McMurtry, like if you do it 2 times, 2 years in a row, it can be a tradition. That's like really cool. Like if I introduce something this year and then the next cohort does it like in 10 years, like, oh, how long have y'all been doing bananas on the roof? It's like, oh, actually, that's a fairly new tradition. And so I kind of like that in between because I have things to work off of the box, my favorite place. And then I also have the room to create a new iteration of the box for next generations as well. So I'm really blessed to be in a college that I am because it works with my personality quite well.
What's one leadership lesson you've learned from your time in student government? Or college government?
Well, that's a really good question. I think more recently, especially during the O-Week process, I've learned that it's okay to be 100% solidified in your decision. I think as I've grown up, I've always got given the advice or have received the advice of it's okay to change your mind or it's okay to evolve and say, oh, I was going to do this, but I'm changing it to this. But I think in the past few months, I've learned that you can say yes is yes and no is no and stand on it and it's going to be okay. And kind of that locked in presence of it or like it being so solidified scares me a little bit. Cause I'm like, oh, what if I'm wrong? Like, I don't want to say this and it be so set in stone and then I'm wrong. But I really gotten advice, like if you are 100% behind it, if you've thought through it, if you thought through A, B, and C, stand on it. And it's okay for that to be the final say. And it's helped me a lot with my confidence. I say things. I don't worry like, oh, did I say it the right way or just the right thing? No, I thought about it for a few hours. I've asked for guidance, advice. Yes is yes, no is no. And I can continue to move on without being so anxious about one thing.
You've been involved in the Resident Fellow Associate Search Committee. What was that experience like and how did it shape your perspective on leadership?
That was a really interesting experience. I did that my freshman spring. We had an outgoing RFA. We needed to hire an incoming one. And I thought that for one, it was really interesting how involved students are. Like I do know Rice is very student-led, but the fact that we were in the interviews, the fact that we were in deliberations, that there was a student leading the search committee, that was like really eye-opening for me because not only does Rice say they care about student input, they actually put that into motion, into action. That was really eye-opening for me, also very encouraging for me because it let me know that as a student, I can get involved in higher ways without having to be a staff member or a faculty member. I think it was also really interesting because that was like my first time interviewing anybody or being in the interview room. And I feel like that experience has helped me a lot with my courting experience because we had like 50 hours of interviews with the advisors and co-advisors put together. But for me, that was not my first time hiring somebody. I'd hired somebody for the RFA committee. And so kind of just hearing the answers to the RFA committee, evaluating, being in a group, talking about it, I feel like it's really opened my eyes to how interviewing goes, how hiring goes, and it has definitely impacted me and helped me throughout my time here in other leadership positions. So it was really nice. Highly recommend. It was really good.
That's a really unique experience for a student, especially in your first year.
Yes. And that's also, I was like, why do they want a freshman's opinion? Like, I unpacked my bags a few weeks ago, right? But it was nice because we had freshmen, sophomores, juniors, and seniors. We had the current magisters and RAs. And it was just nice that our opinion was being weighed with the same equal opportunity and same strength and weight as some of the other comments. So it was really nice to put my input in there.
What is your role as a Rice 360 Global Health Technologies Communications intern, and how does it connect with your interests?
So as a communications intern in the Rice 360 Global Health Institute, I deal a lot with how we communicate with people like outside of Rice. So I help a lot with like flyers. I help a lot with our international partners. For instance, one thing I did yesterday was I edited a Google slide presentation for our design competition that's happening tomorrow, just because that's going to be spoken and given to the audience. So I help a lot with communication that way. I also do a lot with like merchandise and inventory. And it's really nice because at first when I went in, I was kind of wondering the same question, like, how will this help me? I don't have a whole bunch of yearning to be in the communications fields, but I really did realize that there are so many implicit lessons that I have learned from this job, even as small as like how to send an email properly in the office when I'm talking to somebody who's above me or my boss. How do I go about the email? How do I approach them? To as large as how do we set this inventory? How do we communicate on a large scale so we can make sure everybody has what they need? And so these implicit lessons have helped me a lot. It's helped me in how to stay cordial in some circumstances and when to speak up in others. It's also helped me know how to navigate talking to people who are like in higher positions than I am. And so I love it. I love my staff members. They are amazing. They help me honestly so much with the leadership. There's a lot of networking in there. I love the minor. Oh, I can go on for days and days and days. I love this minor. But even how to communicate with international partners and what that looks like and how to make sure that they're comfortable and working towards innovation. It's been a really, really good segue into that and also an eye-opener for how admin things work. And again, with the leadership positions that I hold, that is invaluable in any form that it comes in.
I think that's so incredible because you see how no matter what you're going to do, communications and learning how communications work is so, so crucial.
Yes, absolutely.
How do you balance the many leadership roles you have across campus, along with academics and a personal life in there somewhere?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think the first thing that I go forward with is grace. Grace for others and grace for myself. And the reason why I have grace for others, because sometimes in my mind, the way it works is like I wake up and I have a schedule. Okay, at 1, I'm doing this. At 2, I'm doing this. But I don't always verbalize the schedule. And so sometimes when people have conflicting plans with mine, I get kind of like, why would they schedule that at 2:30? They know I have a class at 2:30. But the reality is nobody knows really what my schedule entails. So grace for other people first off and grace for myself. This semester, I had to drop a class. The first time I dropped a class here at Rice. And it's honestly because I've spent so much time courting. And that honestly ate me up for a while. I'm like, why can't I do it? I don't want people to think I'm not smart enough. I promise my brain can handle it. My body could not handle being in meetings for 12 hours and having 4 hours of homework to do after, then waking up early. And so grace is something that I've had to extend and to others and myself. I think also learning how to say no. That's a hard one, especially because in my mind, I'm like super woman. I'm like, I can do it. I can be here at 5:30 and then be there at 5:35. When Yazmine, is that actually possible? You'd have to like be a sprinter to get there. And even if I do get there, can I give that person my all? Because me at 80% is not what they're looking for. They're looking for the person that they interact with on a daily basis. And so learning how to say no, not as a way of being mean to somebody, but as a way of helping you, because I can't give you the leader that you're looking for in this position, but I know who can. And also delegating. And so it's been hard because I've had to put my ego aside a lot and do what's best for my body and my mental state. But in the end, the grace, the saying no, the delegating helps so much so that I can still be EVP, I can still be OE Court, and I can still be Yazmine Miles at the end of the day. And all of those 3 distinct people are me, and they get to get turned on and off at certain times, and I don't have to be on 100 at all times.
I think that is a great skill to learn, is to say no. It is very hard to say no, especially because you're here, you want to do everything for everyone. Your peers are also your friends a lot of times and they want help. But it is funny because that piece of advice I haven't really heard from a lot of student leaders until I've gotten to the chords.
Yeah.
You guys have a huge job. And it's, I think it's just, especially in this very small time period. And so when I've been interviewing cohorts, it's always like, I've had to learn to say no. I can't do everything.
It's hard because on paper, like, okay, I can do this. No, I have time at 11 p.m. I can meet with you and do X, Y, and Z. But the reality is the 6 hours of interviews take everything out of you. So just because you can doesn't mean you should. That's also something that's really hard. Just because you have an hour of free time, maybe spend that laying down and not like play some like music or something. And I've had to learn that as well, that not every minute of my day has to be accounted for. And it actually helps me in the long run as well.
It's a very important lesson to learn. Good to learn it now.
Yeah.
If you could give one piece of advice to the next generation of student leaders at Rice, what would it be?
Just try. I think it's really easy to psych yourself out. I think it's really easy to count yourself out before other people do. And so in a world full of people who are overachievers, in a world full of people who want to do what's best, it's also really filled with a world of people who are insecure. And that's how I was. I was fearful. I was afraid. But just try, because the worst I can say is no thank you. And that's honestly a blessing as well, because now you know, okay, that was not meant for me. But just trying. If you're thinking about being involved in government at your college, just try. If you're thinking about getting in clubs, just try. And the awesome thing about trying is if you don't like it, you can say no. You can back out. There's no binding contract for these clubs or government. But just trying allows you to go in every day knowing I'm doing the most that I can, the best that I can. That's all I can give you.
And if you could give a piece of advice to the first years who are coming in this fall to O Week, what is your O Week survival tip?
With all the chaos, how hectic it is, I think the best advice I can give is just try to show up when you can. It's really easy to get overwhelmed in O Week and be like, okay, I don't want a part of any of it. And that's honestly valid. But maybe I'm biased because I'm an O Week cord. But even if you're overwhelmed, try to buy in where you can. Maybe it's going to the 1 or 2 events in the morning time and then tapping out at night, or vice versa. But instead of tapping out of the entire week, maybe tap out of a few events, because those events are made for you to connect, get closer to your college, your advisors. So where you can, buy in.
I love that. All right, now we've got some rapid fire questions.
Love.
Okay. What's your favorite MERT tradition?
Ooh, I love McMurtry. It's a jack, and a jack is like a prank on another college. So what we do during Beer Bike, we take a speaker, and all of McMurtry goes to all the North Colleges' commons, and we turn the lights off and we party in their commons while they're doing homework, while they're studying, and we just party, and then we go to the next one. And so it's McParty. I love it. It's so much fun. It's like a little like dance club on the move. It's amazing. I love it.
One word to describe your experience at Rice.
New.
Your go-to study spot at Rice.
My college coordinator's office.
All right. What's the best meal you've had at a servery?
Oh, at North, they have the wok. And so they'll make orange chicken sometimes. Orange chicken with the white rice.
What's your go-to drink at Chaus?
Blended lemonade. So yummy. So yummy.
I'm going to try that.
Especially in summer when it's hot. Oh, amazing.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for sharing your leadership journey. I love hearing about how your fear made you just dive right in and get involved right away. And then you've gone all the way up to be an OE cord and external vice president. And I think it's just incredible. And thank you for sharing that with all the new students who are scared, who are coming in.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
All right, we'll see you in a week.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us for the Leading Owls podcast. We will be back next week with more leadership journeys and tips to share. New episodes release each Wednesday. For more information on the Door Institute for New Leaders and our free leader development programs for Rice students, please visit door.rice.edu.